Hello everyone, welcome back to another process video. As you can see, 6x8 pocket pages here, but I do have something a little bit interesting happening. I have this as my left side, but then on the right side I'm doing something a little different. I like to use inserts, which isn't different, I've done that before, but it's the style of insert that's different here. And this one is a 3x8 insert. It's made by Ali Edwards, and you'll notice right off too, it's got the 6 holes punched in it, as opposed to the more traditional 6x8 pages where they only have 3. This does not bother me. I know some people don't like it when there are extra holes punched into her or they don't match exactly or whatever. By the way, these do match with both the Simple Stories binders and with Echo Park. I have both and I've tried them and they work. However, if they didn't, I would just punch my own. I have a crocodile and I can make my own holes that will work to fit a binder, and I have done that, but luckily these do work. So if you like the look of these, again, it's made by Ali Edwards. I've picked out my photos here. So on this side, I really only have these 2, and this one's going to go in this 4x6 pocket here, and this 3x4 I think is going to go here. I can always move it to this pocket if I want to, but I think I like it over here. And then I actually have 3 photos that I'm going to use on the insert, which means I'm going to have to use a flip on here. I try to think of other ways that I could get 3 in there that would work with what I have coming next, but I couldn't find anything. So it's going to have to be this insert with a flip. So 2 different things kind of happening today, that it's an odd insert I haven't normally used before, plus a flip on top. These are my 3 photos / cards. So I actually have 2 photos, and then I printed out this card from the Project Life app. And when I did it, I noticed, I don't know if it's a fault with my printer or what, but it was slightly off center. It wasn't totally centered towards the middle. So I just put on this little rhinestone just to add it in, and it made me feel a little bit better about how it looks. So I've already done that to kind of make peace with it. But my plan is to have this in the front. You'll flip up, then you'll see this like so, and then the Denver Art Museum building will be in the background. So that's kind of my plan there, and I think I'm going to put it in the lower pocket. But then that means that I need a card here, something for a background here. Come on, focus, camera. Hello. There we go. A card here, something here, and then I need paper for the background of this. I could attach it to the screen here, but I've got staples in it, some washi folded over. The color actually works, but that's not the scheme I want to go with. I actually think I'm going to pull out some orange because it's here and in here and in this sign, and you just don't see orange that often. And so I think it adds a nice color pop in there. So that is what I am starting with today. For this upper left-hand pocket, I did find this card in my stash. I have a whole like pouch that I keep that's all 3x4 cards. I separate the 3x4s from the 4x6s that are all themed to travel. And this was one of them that I had in there. And I love it. It says so much to discover in this city. And I've been to Denver a lot. I grew up in Colorado, not in Denver, but I grew up in Colorado, and I go back quite frequently. And it doesn't matter how many times I've been to Denver, I usually can find something new. And while I've been to the art museum before, this was a very special thing. The actual reason for this trip, the whole trip, was all about this exhibit. This was an art exhibit at the Denver Art Museum specific to Degas. 100 works of art by Degas, and Denver was the only city in the United States that got it. So I had to go there if I wanted to see it. So it surprised me again that rather than New York or Chicago or one of those cities that's more known for big art exhibits, it went to Denver. So discovering something new all the time. So that's what this one focuses on here. That's why I love all this color here in these Degas works that you're seeing in the background. So I pulled that orange. We're going to start with that. And then I also found this. Now, these are not the same orange. They're pretty close, but they're not exact. But I thought that would work nicely in I don't know if the camera will really show it, but there's actually words in the background here. Now, it doesn't really matter what they are. It's not important. You can't really read them. But I just like the fact that there's some text in the background. It gives it a nice look to it, nice texture kind of in the background there. And then it's got a little bit of a weathered look is kind of nice that fits nicely with the whole impressionist theme here since it's Degas. And so I think that I like those together. I'll put them down together here so you can see. Again, you can tell slightly off from each other, these tones of orange, but I like them, so I'm going to use them. I'll start on that side before I think about what's happening over here. I decided to adhere the photo a little bit off center here, and then I thought, okay, well, I've got this blank space, so I probably should put some washi over here, kind of, you know, as to be the border between the photo and the background. So I picked out green as my color because I've got this green, this shade, which is a little bit different, and this one. These two are a little bit closer together than this, but I do have green in here in multiple places. These are the three that I started with. I hope the camera can pick them up pretty well. I decided that this one was probably a little too dark, but it may come back, we'll see. And I decided to go with these two. They're both super skinny, and this one has a little bit of a brighter green dot. This one has more of a muted green, like this type of color, but it has that nice silver, which gives a nice metallic sheen there. So I think I'm actually going to use strips of both right here, and that probably means I'm going to have to add one or both in on the other side too, but I'll worry about that when I get to it. I put down the washi here, and so I put the green dots first, then the more metallic one, and I love that it's sort of off kilter, that it's not perfect, that it's uneven. I like that. So I have that done. I still think it needs something here. I just don't know what that is yet, but I did find a little sticker in my stash. This is one of those that's almost like washi material. It's quite thin. I believe it's from Coco Daisy. I think it's a previous kit that I had, and the color matches pretty well. It's not perfect, but pretty well. And I think I'm going to put it right here. Originally I thought maybe I'd put it on this photo at the bottom, but I think it's too much blue together. But here it offsets this nicely. So I'm going to do that next, and then I'll figure out what else is going here. I did the stamping on the card, so here you can see it. And I did them sort of slightly off kilter just to kind of give the same feeling as this. And these are both roller stamps, which I have quite a few, but I kind of forget about them. I don't tend to use them that often. So these are the two I use. They're both from Amy Tangerine. So the noteworthy one is from this one, which is more coral. And then the Here's the Story one is for the one that just has the tan / wooden top. So if you're looking for those, that's what they look like. So for now, at least, I think I am done with the left-hand side, and I'm moving on to the right-hand side, which is just this 3x8 insert. And as I mentioned, I'm going to do a flip. So here are those pocket flip or photo flip pockets by Simple Stories. These are the ones I tend to use most of the time. So I only need one for this particular layout. And so I will get those placed as they need to be, and then I will adhere it. I've put the flip together. This is what will be on top, and when I flip up, you'll see this, and then this will be the back photo here. However, when I was looking at it, it seemed like it was really blank up here. So I went through my stash of little label things and found this one, and I think that's a good color match. When you look at it like this, you can kind of tell, you know, that these two go well together. Similar colors there, and then it's a little off from this screen, but not enough to matter. I think it'll do just fine. So I'm going to attach that there, and then I have to decide if I'm going to write on it or stamp on it, or what I'm going to do with what's actually on the label. I found this stamp set. This is from Citrus Twist, and there's a stamp on it. It's a little hard to see in this light, but it says event. Okay, see better if I do that or that? Nope, better this way. So this one, event, because it was an event for me to get there, and it was an event of an exhibit and all of that. So I figure that's pretty appropriate. So I've got it ready to go here, and I only want it, kind of more to the right side, because when I attach it, I'm going to cut off that left side a little bit. So I've got my Memento black ink. I'm going to stamp it up a little bit there, or ink it up, and then stamp it just like that. Oh, there we go. Event. It's not totally straight, but I'm somebody who believes that stamping doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't bother me to have that. It makes it handmade and original, so I'm going with it. So I did the stamping. I adhered the label. I cut off the part that was overlapping the edge there and just put in a mini staple. So the background part's ready. Now I just have to attach the flip. So I'm just taking off the adhesive there. And I'm just going to line it up as best I can. About like so. And then press down and voila. Now on to the top. For this top card, I've decided to keep it relatively simple. There's a lot going on, in the fact that this is, somewhat interactive, and there's lots of color. There's color on the other page. So I'm keeping this really simple. I'm just going to use this card, which has a subtle kind of blue patterned background. Hopefully the camera is picking that up a little bit. And I'm just going to use this. This is a digital element from In a Creative Bubble. It comes with one of her travel sets, and it happens to be orange. So I have printed that out, cut it out, and I'm just going to attach it to this card. And I think I'm going to go in the upper left, like so. Put a mini staple in there and call it good. I think that because this has pattern, I don't really need to do anything else with it. And of course, if I decide later that it looks too plain, I can always add stuff. That's the beauty of stamping and scrapbooking. But for now, I think that it'll do just fine if I just adhere this, put the staple in, and then leave it alone. So there we go. So now I'll put it all together with the insert and the left-hand side page and see how it looks. When I saw the layout all put together and the pages laying side by side, I decided that the top card on the right did need a little something. So I added the same washi that I used on this side, so they mimic each other. And I think that does help it. It makes it look more balanced. It adds a little bit more color in there. And I just think it was the right decision for this layout. So there you go. You can see it side by side. Standard left page. Sorry about the glare there. And then that somewhat unusual insert of the 3x8 on the right side. Plus the flip. So there you go. Another one done. Thanks for watching with me today, everybody.